The woman who controls Team USA selections was just exposed on camera speaking badly about Caitlin Clark's fans, and she had no idea this footage would completely destroy her credibility. Sue Bird believed she could sit on a podcast, quietly agree while the host attacked millions of new WNBA fans, and walk away without consequences. She was wrong. Every moment was recorded. Every nod, every smile, every time she agreed while Clark supporters were labeled toxic, clueless, and harmful to women's basketball. And here's the real issue. Sue Bird is the managing director of USA Basketball, the person who decides who represents the country on the world stage. Think about that for a second. Do you honestly trust her to judge Caitlin Clark fairly after seeing what we're about to show you? Let's go back to how this all began. Sue Bird appears on what seems like a normal podcast episode of A Touch More with Megan Rapinoe and Katie Nolan. The cameras are rolling. Bird looks comfortable. She's done this countless times. It feels like just another conversation about women's basketball. But that's not what happened. What followed revealed exactly how she feels about the player who brought the WNBA back into the spotlight. The discussion starts harmlessly. They talk about league growth, new fans, rising viewership, all the usual topics. Bird plays her role well. Calm, professional, controlled. She sounds like a leader. Then Katie Nolan changes the tone. She begins attacking Caitlin Clark's fanbase, calling them a problem, accusing them of disrespecting the league's history and ignoring past legends. That's when Sue Bird's expression changes completely. Watch her reaction closely. She starts nodding. Not out of politeness, but with clear agreement. Her face lights up as Nolan describes Clark's fans as ignorant about basketball history. She looks satisfied as the criticism gets harsher. This isn't someone quietly listening. This is someone who fully agrees and has felt this way for a long time. Then Bird jumps in. Her exact words were that a large group of people online couldn't just support Caitlin, they had to claim that every player before her was trash. Stop right there. That claim is false. Completely made up. But before we expose that, you need to understand why this moment matters. Sue Bird isn't just a retired star giving opinions. She holds a powerful role with USA Basketball. That job demands fairness, objectivity, and judging players only on performance. Yet here she is publicly attacking the fan base of the player who has brought more attention to women's basketball than anyone in decades. The same player who lifted the league while Bird sat on podcasts complaining about it. And this wasn't a one-off comment. Her body language throughout the segment says everything. She leans forward when criticizing Clark's fans. Her hand movements become sharper. Her voice shows real frustration. These thoughts didn't appear out of nowhere. She's been holding on to them, waiting for the right moment and the right audience to let them out. Things get even more interesting when the conversation shifts. On the same podcast, Bird passionately defends Paige Bueckers. Remember, Bird graduated from UConn in 2002 after winning 2 titles there. Paige Bueckers plays for UConn. The pattern becomes obvious. Bird's tone completely changes. The criticism disappears. Now she sounds protective and emotional. She argues that Bueckers only gets about 16% of the media coverage Clark receives, and she presents this as a serious injustice. Her frustration is clear as she insists Bueckers deserves far more attention. Here's what just happened. Sue Bird spent one segment tearing down the fans of the player who brought record-breaking attention to the WNBA. Then she immediately switched to promoting a player from her own school. At no point does she consider that Caitlin Clark earned her attention by breaking records and captivating millions of people who never watched women's basketball before. Bird's argument falls apart under scrutiny. She claims Clark gets too much credit while demanding that media coverage for Bueckers be increased artificially. That's not fairness. That's favoritism. She's using her platform and her official position to boost players tied to her past while minimizing Clark's achievements. This isn't just questionable. It's disqualifying. The person responsible for selecting Team USA players is publicly promoting her alma mater while undermining the league's biggest star. How is that acceptable? How does USA Basketball allow this level of bias? Ask yourself this. If you were Caitlin Clark, would you trust Sue Bird to evaluate you fairly for the 2026 World Cup or the 2028 Olympics? Would you believe someone who publicly called your fanbase toxic could judge you without prejudice? Think about that. Now let's address the false claims. Bird portrayed Clark's fans as hateful and disrespectful. The data proves the opposite. WNBA attendance nearly doubled during Clark's rookie season. Indiana Fever games that once drew 5,000 fans suddenly sold out arenas with over 17,000 people. Who were those fans? Families. Parents bringing daughters in number 22 jerseys. Young girls learning about Kelsey Mitchell, Lexi Hull, and Aaliyah Boston. Players who gained exposure because of Clark, not despite her. TV ratings tell the same story. Clark's games averaged over 1 million viewers. Most WNBA games previously struggled to reach 200,000. Bird calls these viewers toxic, yet merchandise sales show parents buying jerseys for their kids at record levels. Social media exploded with young girls copying Clark's shots. Parents shared videos of kids practicing in driveways. Grandparents took granddaughters to games. Young boys started asking about WNBA teams. Bird somehow sees all of this as a problem instead of a gift. Here's the truth. Caitlin Clark brought more money to the WNBA in one season than most players generate in an entire career. Ticket sales rose. Merchandise surged. TV contracts expanded. Sponsorships increased. And Bird treats this success like a threat. She claims Clark's fans don't respect history. Surveys show the opposite. New viewers actively learn about past legends and current stars. They expand their knowledge instead of dismissing it. The real issue is simple. Sue Bird never brought this level of attention to the sport during her career. She never filled arenas consistently. Never drew millions of viewers. Never sparked nationwide excitement. Clark did all of that in one season. Every metric proves Bird is wrong. Attendance up. Viewership up. Revenue up. Engagement up. All because of Clark. Bird's comments look like jealousy disguised as concern, and it's uncomfortable to watch. And it gets worse. Bird has direct influence over Team USA rosters for upcoming international competitions. Clark's path to representing her country runs through someone who has publicly shown resentment toward her success. This isn't old history. These comments happened while Bird holds power. Other officials see her stance. They may question whether selecting Clark brings controversy. That's how bias spreads. Clark's teammates see this too. They watch leadership attack the player who fills their arena and raises their salaries. The message becomes clear. Success can make enemies at the top. This sends a warning to young stars. Bringing growth to the sport can make you a target. Is that really the culture women's basketball wants? Look at the NBA. Many fans only watched Jordan or Magic. The league embraced that and grew. But in the WNBA, when Clark does the same, it's treated as a crisis. You can criticize Clark endlessly, but defend her and suddenly it's not allowed. A few bad fans are used to justify attacking millions who simply enjoy basketball. Now Clark must respond. She has to be so dominant that leaving her off Team USA becomes impossible. Championships, awards, undeniable performances. That's the only answer. But the damage extends beyond her. Young players see excellence punished. Fans lose trust in USA basketball's fairness. Clark faces a choice. Let this bias limit her, or use it as fuel. If history tells us anything, she'll choose the second path. Sue Bird doesn't understand this. Or maybe she does, and that's why she's reacting this way. Clark is more than a player. She's proof women's basketball can break through. Bird's response wasn't leadership. It was resentment. And in doing so, she destroyed her own credibility. So I'll ask again. Do you trust Sue Bird to make Team USA decisions? Because after seeing this, many people don't.